Hey, Dragon Slayers. It's been about 6 hours since my last meal. My blood sugar is 84. My last meal was 6 eggs, about a half pound of wild caught shrimp, and a bushel of red kale. So today's video is all about how to calculate the PE ratio, which I'll get to at the end. But first, I wanted to wrap up and give you some more information about carbohydrates and how to strategically use them. So, if you want to maintain maximal metabolic flexibility, it really doesn't make much sense to never eat any carbohydrates ever. But it does make sense to have very clear periods of time when you are in a carb depleted state of maximal fat oxidation, aka ketosis, as well as times when you have incoming dietary carbohydrate to deal with instead of fat. Probably the easiest way to implement this is intermittent fasting and limiting glycemic carbohydrate frequency. Our favorite way of accomplishing this in real life is to stay very low carb during the day and have one higher carb meal at the end of the day, keeping protein percentage as high as possible, of course. Finally, remembering that in order to be successful long term, your dietary strategy has to be sustainable indefinitely. You really want to be on the least restrictive diet possible to help out with long term adherence. Being low carb most of the time, with occasional carbups, sounds a lot less restrictive versus swearing off all carbs forever, which is an unlikely scenario to begin with. Focus on the things you can realistically achieve. Can you permanently increase the overall protein percentage of your diet? Probably, yeah. And this will help you succeed at your body composition goals. Can you reduce your carbohydrate frequency on a long term basis? I'm pretty sure you could. And this is going to help improve your metabolic flexibility. So, what should you actually do? Consider a lower carbohydrate eating frequency, such as eating carbs once a day. This probably works best in the evening, at the end of your eating window, and after eating protein and fibrous veggies. Try to keep net carbs under 100 grams a day if you're not regularly engaging in high intensity exercise. Choose carbs with maximal protein, fiber, and water content for satiety. 100 grams would be roughly equivalent to 2 potatoes, 2 cups of rice, or 4 apples. It's not about low carb, it's about low crap. Humans eat until they reach an adequate quantity of protein and minerals. Minerals track very well with protein, which makes a lot of sense, as plants absorb nitrogen from topsoil along with other minerals. Therefore, the PE diet, we target protein and foods with high protein percentage in order to increase the protein percentage of our diets. Protein offers both short term and long term satiety. Fat offers lower satiety. Carbs are unique in that they offer an initial satiety for a few hours, followed by an increase in hunger as blood sugar falls. But for now, the goal is targeting protein first and foremost. That is the primary goal of the protein to energy approach. In order to calculate the protein to energy ratio, we need to know the four basic mass quantities in grams, and they're printed on all nutrition labels, and that is protein, fats, carbohydrates, and fiber. You need those four things. Because fiber is indigestible and does not contribute directly to energy calories, we subtract fiber grams from total carbohydrate grams to yield net carbs, or carbs minus fiber. This gives us the total amount of carbohydrate energy. So the equation is protein divided by fat and carbs minus fiber. You could also write this as protein divided by fat plus net carbs. If you, and I put that equation in the description below. If you are eating food without a label, and let's face it, this is the healthiest choice, you can usually just Google the word like nutrition. So just Google the food plus the word nutrition, and you'll be given the USDA nutritional facts for the chosen food. And you can also go directly to the USD website, which I've linked below, Several other apps and web services that are very helpful that Dr. Naiman recommends. Two of them are Chronometer as well as myfitnesspal.com. Also, those links in the description below. And once you have the nutritional information, you can use it to calculate your PE ratio. I also put a link to his free PE calculator in the description below. And so when I first started trying the PE diet for myself, I decided to do a Google Sheet and I started plugging in different foods that I was interested in eating to see what their PE ratios were. You can find a copy of that sheet as well in the description below. Feel free to use my data, download or copy and create your own sheet for reference if you like. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Stay tuned because there's so much more coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.